Hola, clase. Welcome back to art class. We're in November now, and I started thinking about Thanksgiving and what I was thankful for. And usually, I'm always thankful for my family first. So I thought that we could use that idea to dig into our family history a little bit and make a family history collage. The collage that you see right here is just something that I found that I thought was really neat. You can see that it has writing, it has pictures, and it also has other little things, and they were all put together or glued together. So first, let's talk about what a collage is, because this isn't exactly what we're going to be doing. So what is a collage? We've talked about it before. Basically, it's just art made by sticking various materials together on some sort of a backing, usually like paper, but it could be cardboard. Um, you can take little pieces of fabric, you could take newspaper, anything, and just putting it together, a combination or a collection of things. There's some four things that we usually see and that I want to see in your collages when we make them. Collages have overlapping. So that means things need to be on top of each other so you can't see the full picture that's in the background. So there's definitely overlapping. Also, I want you to pay attention to color, how you use color. So we're going to be getting into what our idea of our collage is going to be in a moment, but color is still really important even when we're sketching. So then there's soft edges and hard edges. Soft edges are from you just like tearing a piece of paper or things that are torn and putting them on there. And hard edges are crisp, clean, kind of like straight lines that you usually get from scissors. So those are the things that I want to see in your collage. Overlapping, color, and then different types of edges, either soft or hard. So where did collage come from? A lot of people say that Pablo Picasso started collage, like this guitar right here. But Picasso was really more so influenced. He was influenced by a lot of things, but the thing that kind of gave him his collage type art was by tribal African art. So I found an artist named Amani Lewis. She is an active artist that's alive right now and doing her artwork right now. She is a digital collage artist, and I want to show you a little bit more about her. So this is her website. She's from Baltimore, Maryland, and she got a Bachelor of Fine Arts from the Maryland Institute of Art. And this is a picture of her, but the work that I want to share with you is her artwork is kind of like what our collage is going to be based on. It's based off of family and friends and nature. So that's what she thinks of when she does her collages, just like this one. So that you can see that hers is digital, so you can tell that she worked with photos and drawings and things on the computer, but it's still overlapping and there's still rough edges and hard edges and soft edges and definitely use of color. So this is just to give you an idea of an artist that's out there right now. So again, Amani Lewis used her collage digitally, but it was just like a collage with the color and the overlapping and the soft edges and the hard edges. And remember, she was inspired by family and friends just like us, like we're going to do. So, what we're going to do for this project is thinking about our family history. So, I have some family history. I had to talk to my mom and try to find out a lot of different things about our family. And so that's what I want you to do. First, ask your parents or guardians if it's okay to ask about these kinds of questions and dig into family history. Um, if not, where do we all live right now? We all live in Michigan, right? And Michigan is a part of the United States. So we're all Americans. So if for some reason you're not able to do the family history part of it, you can be about your history. You're from, you're a Michigander. You're living here in Michigan. and you're an American. So you can use that as your base. For my family, I found out that I have a lot of ancestry from Scotland and from England, and then Finland is where my grandma's parents were from on my mom's side. And then there's also some Swedish and some France. So I found out a lot of different things just by talking to my mom. So think about one way you can think about your family history is by those countries, like I just showed you with my own. And here's some flags um, of all the different countries. So maybe you can think about if your family's from different countries, what flags are there? And maybe that can be the background for your collage. Or maybe you can just be inspired by the colors and the shapes in the flags. But for this week, you're going to ask if it's okay. You're going to interview somebody if it is. And then I want you to write and draw in your sketchbook. I'll get more into detail in that in just a second. Um, and then after you've wrote down what you learned and or maybe you drew a picture about what you learned, I want you to think and I want you to plan how this is going to be laid out so that you can have overlapping. How does this represent your family history or your own personal history? So I want you to think about that this week. Another important thing is this is probably going to be either a 2 or 3 week project because at the end, I want us to have some time to have some reflection and also maybe even do an art critique online. So, to get ready for next week, you also need to start gathering up some materials now. Remember, you always need to get permission when you're gathering these supplies because some of the supplies like old pictures or old clothes, you definitely maybe they are really precious and they're not supposed to be touched. So please make sure that you are asking for permission. But here's some ideas. I'll also have them listed for you separately so that you can refer back to them later. But scissors, glue tape, magazines, cardboard, maybe there's a lot of boxes around. You can use cardboard, aluminum foil, give it some shiny, and then just any way that you can add color. Crayons, markers, oil pastels, anything that you have that you want to use to add color. Remember, that's not until next week. So, what do you need to put in your sketchbook and in Seesaw this week? I need you to draw on a piece of paper a heart as big as the paper. So I want you to do it in pencil. Make sure that you're doing it in pencil, but I'm going to do it in pen just so that you can see it. But you're going to draw a heart that's really big that takes up the whole page. So a heart can look different, but it's basically like you're starting to draw a C and then you just kind of come down to a point instead. So you just start with a little curve like a big C, and then instead of coming back up and curving, you just bring it down to a point, and then a backward C. Bring it to a point. So this is why I would do it in pencil, is because this line looks a little bit too straight, but I really like that line. So make sure you're doing it in pencil first, and remember that your heart should take up almost the whole page, okay, from top to bottom. I want the point of the heart to be way, way down here, and then the tops of the heart to be way, way up there. Because we're going to fit a lot of stuff inside of our heart, okay? So, what you need to think about for the inside of your heart is by talking to your parents or guardians. Make sure that you ask them if it's first okay to do the family history project. And if it is, then you're going to ask them, you're going to be interviewers and ask them different questions about your family history. And I want you to draw pictures of the things that you learn in your sketchbook. And then, or if you want to write some words, you can write some words too. That's part of the collage is there's words because maybe we use newspaper, but the words help it look really neat too. What I want you to do is when you're thinking about these things and when you're learning about these things, and remember if you're not going to participate in the family research part of it, we're all living in Michigan, so you can research about Michigan. and our Great Lakes and different things that you really like about Michigan. Or we're all living in America, so we're also all Americans. So you could use the American flag or the Michigan flag, maybe as your background if that's what you would like to do instead. Whatever you do, whatever you find, whatever you discover, whatever is the most near and dear to your heart, I want you to put it inside the heart. So, one thing that I would put inside my heart is my grandma used to make these cookies, and I don't know how to pronounce the name of it because they're from Finland, but I didn't know they were from Finland. They were just these really cool star cookies with apricot inside and some powdered sugar on top. And I loved them. And my grandma used to make them all the time when she found out that I loved them. So I asked my mom a few years ago about those cookies, and I found out that they're from Finland and that my granny used to have her mom used to make them and her granny used to make them. So it's something that they've been making in my family that I didn't even know was special that's from Finland. So I really love those cookies and that's really near and dear to my heart. So I would draw one of those little star cookies in, and they're kind of like a square with points and stars, but I would draw them in my heart design because those are really near and dear to my heart. And I really love them a lot. So I would put them inside my heart. And then maybe you find different flags that you really like, and maybe those can be the background and the background colors. But remember, this is just our sketch, just our plan. We're just thinking about this. So take a picture of your work. If you want to add color, you can. But take a picture of your work in Seesaw and then stop here for this week. We'll get into all the other materials next week. And when you're looking for the materials, as I said earlier, please make sure you're asking your parents and guardians for permission to gather all these materials and to use them because some materials might be really precious to your family and they don't want them to get ruined or hurt or lost. So please make sure you're working with a parent or guardian and then get those materials gathered for next week too. All right, adios, mis magos. I hope you enjoy.